guys? I want to bring a new video to you, and I want to talk about Stanley Johnson and the development. Is Stanley Johnson finally coming of age? Definitely, when Stanley Johnson came to the league, he was 19 years old, raw talent. I saw the potential that he could be a good player for the Detroit Pistons. It took him a while to develop. And I think, like, in his sophomore season, to me, Stan Van Gundy wasn't playing him a lot. A lot of his minutes went to John Lure. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to go to fast forward to right now. Stanley Johnson if he can develop his game, man, Stanley Johnson reminds me of a Ron Artest. He's very gritty and tough on defense, and the guy can score. And we know that he can score. But I don't think that Stanley Johnson has been given the keys to just do whatever he wants. But I think that Stan Van Gundy needs to release the keys on Stanley Johnson so that he can develop and become a good player. I don't think Stanley Johnson should be traded. The Pistons need to develop him. They already gave up one player. They gave up one player, Spencer Dinwiddie, who's developed into a good point guard. And I think that the Pistons need to work with Stanley Johnson to allow him to develop. You don't want to always continue to give away your good young talent and then he goes somewhere else and end up being an AllStar or something. And then you'll regret trading him. But definitely, man, I think that Stanley Johnson has the potential to be a good NBA player. It's just taking him a little bit longer to develop, but I think that he will eventually come along, work on his jump shot more and more, and improve on his defense even more because he already is pretty good on defense. So, and he has the body for it. He's 6'7", 240 pounds. So same type of body like a Ron Artest type of guy. So definitely, man, I think that the sky's is the limit for Stanley Johnson. He can be a potential all-star if he continues to work on his game, get better. And definitely, man, I think that the Pistons need to grow with that young core with now newly acquired Blake Griffin, Drummond. And if they can get Reggie Jackson's head in the game and him playing at a high level, the Pistons can be dangerous, man. I don't know what they're going to do at the trade deadline on today. I don't know if they're going to trade Stanley Johnson for Hood. You know, Hood is also a good player. But, man, you don't want to give away. Sometimes you don't want to give away your young talent, man. Stanley's only 21, so he has room and a chance to grow. And I like Stanley Johnson. You know, me personally, I do like Stanley Johnson. And I saw flashes of what could be when I was in Detroit. I definitely think I went to a lot of the Pistons games, and I had an opportunity to see Stanley Johnson a lot. And in his sophomore season, I just felt like Stan Van Gundy kind of gave up on him a little bit, or sometimes maybe he was just confused when he was getting in the game. He didn't understand really what his role was and what was he called to do. But as you see, you know, against the Cavs recently, you know, he put up 26 and 10, and I believe 5 assists as well. So the guy has the potential to be a good player, and I think that Stan Van Gundy need to release the keys so that he'll be able to, or give him the keys, I should say, so that he will be able to help the team out, man, and scoring. When Andre and Blake ain't got it going, he might can fill it up, and I see that now he's starting to get confidence in his shot. So maybe if he continues to get confidence in his shot, he'll be a better player, man. But I do think Stanley Johnson is coming of age, you guys. I think that he's growing up, and I definitely think that he can be something to reckon with, man. We've seen Stanley Johnson tear it up before in those Drew leagues and stuff like that, and those leagues that the players do in the summertime. But I definitely think that the Pistons should not give up on him. They should give him an opportunity to grow with that team. Don't keep trading away all your young talent. Keep it so you can develop it. That's exactly what the Golden State Warriors did. They kept their talent. They draft all these guys. You know, they drafted the Klay Thompsons and Steph Currys and Draymond Greens and stuff like that, and they allowed those guys to develop. So I think that what the Pistons should do is the same thing, that they should allow he should be given an opportunity to develop into the player that he's going to be, because you don't know what he's going to be or what he's going to turn out to be. But I do think Stanley Johnson is finally coming of age, man. So I just think that Stan Van Gundy need to allow him to be more aggressive on offense, allow him to attack. I know that the focal point of the offense is Drummond and Blake Griffin, but please don't leave out Stanley Johnson. Let this young man grow so he can be the player for the Detroit Pistons that he needs to be, a tough and gritty guy, because he's the type of player that Detroit needs, a gritty, tough guy that's going to defend, and he is able to score. So only thing that I really see that Stanley Johnson needs to work on, he needs to be able to work on taking this guy off the dribble, getting a little bit better as far as polishing his game on offense and taking it up another level on his defense, man. And he could be a potential all-star player if he continues to work hard and continues to grit and grind and do what he has to do. And he could develop into that player. So, all right, you guys, I just wanted to talk about Stanley Johnson right quick. I wanted to talk about, do you think Stanley Johnson is coming of age? So, all right, you guys, this is Noble Creation TV signing in and out with another video on today. All right, you guys, I'll be back soon. Peace.